What up? We're live from just outside the media room here at the EVM Convention Center for the M5 World Championships. I'm with Rose from MPL MY.
Hello guys, it's your trilingual queen.
Actually, I think it's more than just trilingual now.
Really?
Kasi baka... No, is it Malayu, Tagalog, English, right?
Yeah.
You sure you know nothing else?
I mean, I can understand, but I can't really speak. I can understand Bahasa Indo and Mandarin.
There you go. So we'll count those two halves as one, so it's now quadlingual.
Wow, I love it.
That's it. We're very generous here. This is 10 minutes with Rose, and we're going to look back at your 2023. It's been a crazy year. You started off by debuting in season 11, and now we can't even imagine the league without you. Tell us how that started.
Okay, so this started actually in season 10. I received an offer on the grand finals of season 10, MPL MY. They were like, hey, do you want to host? And I was like, no, because I have no experience in hosting, so I don't want to do it. But they told me to think about it. And then a few months later, it was on February, actually, 15th of Feb. I remember because 16th of Feb was my birthday. So
the universe gave it to you.
Yes, they really did. So on the 15th of February, Moonton contacted me. They're like, hey, you free for a call tomorrow? I was like, I'm having a birthday lunch tomorrow, so we could do it before my lunch. Is it going to be quick? And they're like, it's going to be quick, you know? So when we got on call, they asked me if I wanted to do hosting, if I wanted to host season 11. And then I remember what Leo said. Because before you said that you saw potential, that I could somewhat do casting.
That was a year and a half
Yes.
ago.
Yes. Then I'm just like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. But then I said, don't put too much hope on me. Because just in case I don't do good, like, you know, I'm not disappointing anybody but myself, because I'm kind of harsh to myself. Let's be honest. I'm very harsh to myself. So we talked. Then I went for my birthday lunch. And then that night, a caster messaged me like, hey, congrats on being a part of the talent pool. And I'm like, hold on, what? I thought I had to go through audition.
Did they put you in a GC, or did they know something you didn't?
So he's like, congrats. And I was like, what do you mean? I haven't gone through my audition. And he's like, oh, but your name's in the photo shoot for Media Day next week. I'm like, oh, so I guess it's official then. Then a few days later, Moonton contacted me, told me to go get a nice dress to wear for the Media Day. We did Media Day, and then after that, fast forward to the first day of MPL MY season 11.
I watched that specifically. Like, I was like, oh, this is her debut. I gotta see.
Was it good?
You did what you could. And no, to give you the answer, yes, because you won that season.
All right. Okay. So the moments leading up to that was actually quite cray-cray. So we did rehearsals. I butchered it. I didn't kill it. I butchered it. I did so bad.
For day one, the rehearsals for day one.
Yes, because there's a rehearsal for regular season, right? I did so bad.
How? Paano? What do you mean you did so bad?
I did so bad. LaFell was like trying to help me backstage on how I should project my voice and everything. I was all over the place. I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first time ever.
You guys have a prompter, yes?
No, we don't.
You have a cue card at least.
At that time, we didn't have a cue card.
So, okay.
So the main problem was how I sounded, the tonation, my body language. So he was like really helping me, and I think we finished at 12 or 1 a.m. that day.
That happens?
Yeah, because he was like trying to go through it with me. We were, doing it again and again with the producer, and they were really nervous for the debut. Day one, I expected to be freaking nervous, but I was actually really calm. I was like really composed, and me being able to speak Tagalog was a secret. So the players did not know I could speak Tagalog. And I still remember that first match, it was Team Hawk where they had Hito.
It was Hito, yes.
And then there's Dale.
Your
from
first
Homeboys.
victim.
Yeah, so they were my first victim. Now the plan was, they don't know I know how to speak Tagalog, and I'll just release it during the interview session. And Homeboys won.
So that's Dale.
That's Dale. Homeboys won, there's Dale. And when I dropped the Tagalog, he was just confused.
And what's funny is these are two dudes of varying dispositions.
Yes.
Diba? Si Coach Dale is very cold. He's just like, if he reacts, it's very blunt.
Yes.
Hito, super animated.
Yes.
Yeah. So that went viral that weekend. So I can very clearly remember, as soon as that weekend started, I was in the gym and I would put on MPL MY. And within an hour of those interviews happening, the groups were blowing up. Like, who is this? What was that?
Yes.
And I'm sure you saw that. What did that feel like?
Okay, so I was actually told to not read comments by LaFell because he's like, people could be brutal. It's your debut. People could be harsh if your performance is not up to par. So that day, first match was over. I did not check my phone at all. And then I think it was around second or third match. That was when the videos were going viral.
Mm-hmm.
my phone started blowing up. My friends were messaging me.
Tags, everything.
No, my friends.
Oh, they were telling
They
you.
were like, yo, what is happening? Then they were sending me links after links after links, and I was like, I'm not gonna open that, I'm scared. What if I'm getting bashed? They're like, open it, read the comments. I remember it was Snipe Gaming, I think. I opened the video, I looked at the comments, and I was like, yo.
Queen.
People love me.
Mother. She's mothering. Slay.
I slayed that day.
There you go.
Um,
So this is one of those few times that you actually want to read the comments.
yeah, because
And it was gonna get to you regardless.
Yeah, I was specifically told not to read the comments. They were like, you want to read the comments, read it on Monday. So if you're down on a
Yes,
weekday, you know?
yes. And you have the days to recover.
Yeah, you have days to recover. So that day, I was really scared to open it, but my friends were just like, dude, just read the freaking comments. They love you. I read it and I'm like, oh my God, they do love me. So yeah, there's that.
So I think beyond just being able to speak, something about your delivery and your hosting style hit well with the fans. That's very different from already the very talented, beautiful, and great hosts we have, right? Very different from Mara, very different from Clara, very different from Cheryl, who followed very closely for MPLSG. And I think that was what even Munton liked, right? And again, they gave you the green light, they pulled the trigger on giving you the award. What was that like after day one, after you saw those comments and after, week in, week out, and then eventually going to the grand finals and getting the award? Do you remember what that was like, or was it like a quick, just flash in the pan for you? What did that feel like?
I feel like season 11 was definitely longer than season 12 for me, because season 11 was all eyes on me because of the viral videos. So I was really determined and really keen on improving on aspects and where I can improve in a very short period of 6 weeks, because MPL MY is just 6 weeks long. So I would always go and ask like their opinions, production. I would ask LaFell's opinion, the caster's opinion on how I did. They would point out like sometimes I speak too much English, I speak too much, I don't ratio up my Malay and English so well. So I really made it a thing where if I did bad on that day, or I felt like I did bad, I asked my co-talents what they think went wrong and then how I can improve from there the next day.
Is that different? Is that how you would have done work outside of the MPL prior, or did you change when you were in the MPL?
That's how I did work. Because to me, there are things that I won't notice firsthand, but other people will always notice. It's always better to have a third person watching, their opinions. It may not seem like a lot. Most of the time, it could be stupid, but sometimes there's truth in there somewhere.
So, given that, you're used to it, ganun ka naman pala talaga, like that's your work ethic.
Yeah.
Was there any struggles you faced in season 11? Because a lot of people will just say, wow, that's a walk in the park for her. They put out the red carpet, she did her thing, and boom, there it is. Now you can't have season 12, 13, 14, you can't have MPLMI without Rose. Are there any struggles that most people don't know about?
There were definitely struggles because I suffer from anxiety. So being on stage, it doesn't really give me that much of a fright. But then when I know that there are certain expectations, I struggle a little bit with myself. I tend to be a little bit too harsh on myself, like I mentioned earlier, and I would beat myself up over random mistakes or small mistakes that I think could have been avoided, but I did it anyways, and then I just take it really hardly.
So with that said, you mentioned that 11 felt much longer than 12,
Yeah.
and 12 came and went. We're in the wake of 12. It's been a while because MPLMY was one of the first few, right,
Yes.
to actually conclude. What's different from Rose before MPL and Rose after? Did you notice anything that changed, or do you feel like you're still the same you? You're still you before the league?
I can say that a few things changed. I definitely feel so much more confident after season 11. It gave me a boost of confidence. Maybe it's because of how I, present myself up on stage. So whenever I'm up on stage now, I'm like, you know what? I can do this. I own the stage. I'm the host. That kind of thing. I feel more confident. I speak more confident. I walk more confident. And I'm trying to be nicer to myself. Not that easy though.
Can't tell. The first time we actually met, we connected right around M2, right? So early
Yes.
2021 through LaFell and Gideon.
Yes.
And then we met at MSC.
Yes.
2022, a year later. I can tell that was already a change. You were already very different from then to after MPL. I saw that. And even from season 11 to season 12, it was a very different Rose.
Yeah.
So now we jump to MPLI. MPLI, they also made their own kind of Avengers for MPL talents. And you were there. What was that like?
I feel like MPLI is my best performance up to date. I think it's because I found a footing on how I want to host. So I felt really confident conducting interviews in MPLI compared to my first ever international tournament, which was SPS, Snapdragon, right? Which is where we worked together. So
Also very different. You at Snapdragon and you at MPLI, also very different.
yeah, I personally felt like MPLI, I actually found my footing after season 12. So I was so much more confident in working with Clara. I was not afraid to say the wrong things. It's because we worked together prior to that in SPS. I also felt like...
I almost forgot.
Yeah.
In my head, while watching you, as we were on the tube,
Yes.
because we were also casting,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, they have really good chemistry. It's like, this isn't their first time working together. So now I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's because we were all together in Jakarta about 2
Yes.
months ago.
Yes. But I really felt as if like I was so much more confident in MPLI. Because obviously the players, most of them already know me from SPS and from MPL, so they were all really accommodating. They were all really nice backstage. The production, I've also worked with them prior to this. The crew, the co-casters. So, and I like that they gave me my own like freedom to do what I want to say, to do what I want to do, say what I want to say, and host the interviews as to how I want to host it. That's why it sounded much more confident. It went more naturally, yes.
All right. So, big dub, MPLI, very first wild cards in the history of our esport. You did that too. And now we're in the middle of M5. Where is Rose now, like mentally and in your career? How do you feel, like looking back at 2023, everything you've done so far? Where does that put you?
Okay, so honestly, mentally in wildcard, it was really hard for me because I was down with influenza during wildcard. I was down with influenza and I was having some really serious family issues. So I was really mentally down. I was like breaking down every night after work. But then now that I'm in the Philippines, although I'm not hosting, I'm here as like, I'm making content and whatnot, I actually feel really, really proud of myself. Once I actually look back on my journey, it's December. So like, looking back, like, goddamn, I did so much since March.
Yeah.
It's only, 10 months, but I did so much. Never would have seen this coming, honestly, but I wouldn't have it any other way as well.
And this is a nice way to kind of ease out of the year, right?
Yes.
Sadly, you won't be here with us when we go to Rizal Memorial. You will be back home. You will be in service for the
Yes.
MPL MY watch parties.
Yes.
So that's going to be cool. But real quick, before we end our 10 minutes with, can you tell me something quirky or something out of your work that suddenly came up after being part of the MPL now, after being part of Mobile Legends Esports? What has Rose grown into, like a weird habit that you suddenly have now?
Okay, so I think this started after Snapdragon. So whenever I
Very
would
recent.
I would feel stressed from work, or like I feel like I had a stressful week in MPL, stressful weekend, I just book a flight to another country, like I don't know, Singapore, or usually Singapore is the way to go because it's super near. It's like an hour flight, 45 minutes to an hour.
It almost
flight.
feels domestic.
It almost feels domestic. So what I do is I just book a flight, get on it the next day. Super impulsive. I stay in Singapore for a day. I eat pancakes and just whatever food I want to eat, gelato at the airport, and then fly back.
And is that therapeutic? Does it work?
Yeah, it breaks the bank, but it's amazing.
Okay, interesting. How often, how long are you gone for?
A day. I would get to Singapore on like the night off, and then I would leave Singapore the next day at night. 24 hours with Rose.
It happens. It happens. I with that kind of money and time, I would have just,
Hired a therapist.
yeah. There would have been like a couple of other things that you could have done, but to each their own. That's what Rose does. So in case you wonder where she is, like you didn't stream one night or
Yeah, if
you were
I don't
missing.
post, It's not an MPL day. I didn't post. I'm probably in Singapore eating pancakes at Bugis.
Perfect. All right, just to wrap this up, what's 2024 looking like? What do you want to achieve in the next coming year? Because again, we're just growing, we're just keeping and going. Where's Rose going to be in 2024?
Okay, for 2024, hopefully I'm still in the MPL MY scene. If they still want me, obviously, if you guys still want me, hopefully I would do much more international events. I love international events. I love meeting with other talents. They're all so nice. I also hope that, I venture out of esports too, do other gigs, focus on content creating as well, create amazing contents for you guys. Hopefully stream more. I haven't been streaming for the past 5 months.
And that's where you started, actually.
And that's where I started, and I haven't been doing it for the past 5 months because I've been busy, really busy.
With esports?
With esports. So yeah, I just really hope to grow more as a person this year, do more charity works, and hopefully help more people out there.
All right, where can people find you on social media? So after watching this, learning a little bit more about you, they can go ahead and follow you there and see if you're missing for a day, and they would know then.
Okay, if I'm missing for a day, I'm either in the hospital or in Singapore. That's either one of it. Anyways, you guys can follow me, Rose Gaming on Facebook or Poetry of Roses on TikTok and Instagram.
Get to it. That has been 10 minutes plus. You know how we do it here with Rose. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Salamat.
Salamat.
You know what it is. How do I say?
Shishini.
There you go, Shishini.